back to another episode of Solidity Fridays brought to you by Web3 Sanctuary and Linum Labs. Today I'm joined by Rebecka, Marriott, and Mustafa from Sprout. Rebecca's lost her voice, so if she has questions, I'll read them out to Mustafa.
Cool.
Cool. So, Mustafa, do you want to take us off and intro yourself and maybe explain what Sprout is?
Okay, so I'll keep it short and then you can start asking questions and we can dive deeper. So, to intro myself, I have been in this space for 6 years now and started working in Linum in 2020, where I'm currently on position of CTO. Um, Glad to see you, Tam, again. We haven't seen each other in a while.
Yeah, good to see you again too.
Yeah, thank you.
CTO of Dreams.
That's nice to hear always. And in Linum, I have helped build a lot of projects. Let's mention like maybe Ether.fi. There was names. We worked on Swell and a couple of minor projects that we're currently working on. But I would just focus on the topic of today's, which is Sprout. It's Linum's internal project that we're currently building. It's kind of uh, it's not staking strategies. It's a platform where you can invest, deposit your ETH in order to gain value over time in long run. Where we have helped. Would you like to screen share the website? Who, me? Okay.
Either, but if you're keen.
Yeah, sure. Just let me open it up.
Nice. So there's different investment plans basically, right? And then you can invest your ETH and now you have like a whole portfolio.
Yeah, so through one, we call them strategies. Through one
Okay.
strategy, your ETH is diversified automatically into protocols that belong to one strategy. With what magic it gives you is low gas cost for users that are interacting with with our platform. Let me start screen sharing the
Cool.
landing page, and then we can go over how it looks, and then we can focus on technicalities because this
Oh,
is
that's very beautiful.
thank you, thank you. This is done by Linum with love and our beautiful designers. So Sprout itself, wait, why? Okay, now it's working. Sprout itself is, as it says, simplified, optimized investments in one click, where user have low risks because we are validating who are we putting into our contracts, low gas fees because we are managing uh, interactions with the protocols in the background, not through users wallet, to save up
Mm.
gas for users and to make it easier for them, and fully transparent. So whatever we do inside the strategy that user interacts with, it it is displayed on chain, and then if they are technical enough and experienced enough on Etherscan, they can see all the steps that this platform did for them.
Amazing. That transparency adds a lot of safety and security for the users.
Yeah. So what you will get in Sprout is something like universal investment platform, where over the time more and more strategies will be added. Let's say DeFi or uh, infrastructure strategy, because we will be combining uh, the strategies based on what they do. It's like, okay, if you're in infra, that means probably you're the graph, chain link, push protocol, whatever you do in the space, which helps build ecosystem. And we believe in you, what you're doing, and we can put it up. This is not advertisement for any of them, but this is just like an example because everyone is using them. So one
Yeah,
of
everyone is.
and it's, as it says, efficient fund distribution, where we set percentages for each protocol. Let's name them protocol for easier conversation, and we disperse the ETH that comes in as a deposit into their assets, and then the strategy holds that assets until uh, user decides to withdraw from the platform and to get ETH back. optimize returns, where we are trying to maximize the yield and minimize the risk through itself. We're not trying to get like 30-40% of yield. We're trying to get like that sweet spot of 5 to 8% with
Mm.
more security to come.
Yeah, safe and
And
secure yield. That's
yeah,
better.
and trying to find those who will give out rewards in the space of. I will talk about our first MVP strategy, why we picked them, and how it's structured, and growth tracking, where user can see how much the value of the index token that they own, how it grows, and I will explain the mechanics when I display the app and we start talking about the code base.
Awesome.
And then this is the first strategy, which combines Ether.fi, Rocket Pool, and Swell.
Those are good first choices.
Yeah, we picked them up because they are verified already, audited a lot, and
Mm.
secure. And assets that they are holding are enormous.
Yes.
I don't even remember. Like Ether.fi is like 5.8, Swell is like 1 point something, and Rocket Pool has like 100,000 ETH locked, as far as I remember, or even more. So let's start up the app. So as we say, it's still in development, and any feedback that you have, join on Discord. There is a form. All feedback will be taken into consideration and try to create this to be on UI side user centered. So whatever happens, user will know what's happening.
Mm.
Uh, so all of these are fetched from the uh, let's say partners, um, combining Rocket Pool yield. Swell is only locked, so there isn't yield, and Ether.fi yield, and where you can see like the total value locked, deposits over time, and withdrawals. So you can see how people are acting on the strategy itself. So you can see like the nature of if they are depositing more or they are withdrawing more. We're not here displaying like USD, but
Mm.
only like how they are acting with it.
That's cool. So if there's multiple strategies later, then you can see which one you're keen on. Maybe
Exactly.
if people are withdrawing, you can deposit and.
Yeah. So to talk about this first strategy, and then we can talk about the code, is the staking strategy. It's automated. So we have set percentage, as you can see here, that 50% of deposited ETH goes into Ether.fi liquid vault, not Ether.fi as staking, because Ether.fi liquid vault, what it does, for people that don't know, is they are diversifying again into the Pendle, into multiple DeFi protocols to make their liquid ETH stronger in value. And that's why we are pushing 50% of it in there. And Ether.fi itself has their own seasons, which comes, and at the end of each season, they will give you Ether.fi tokens and other tokens. Like recently, they released Eigenlayer tokens based on how much they interacted. 30% in Swell. Swell is currently zapping in and accumulating on L2. And if you go to their website, uh, they are giving you points because you interacted with them and you trust your ETH with them, and potential bonuses in airdrops. And Rocket Pool is there because it's one of the oldest, yeah, one of the first staking protocols out
Mm.
in the world, and that is why we chose them.
Yeah, and it's solid. Still going.
It's solid and it's still going. So when it comes to fees, what we are doing, we're on deposit, we're taking a minor fee of 0.0025 and 2.5%. I'll explain why. And on withdrawals, we do the same. And when you're withdrawing, we're only taking the profit. So we're calculating how much you invested at the time of investment and how much you are withdrawing, and then we're just taking from the top of the pie 8%.
That's really nice and fair.
We are aiming for fairness. We don't want to make users like deposit one ETH and then they change their mind in like 10 days and withdraw, and then we take what they deposited, because it's not fair in the space and not fair for the users. and airdrop fees, which I mentioned, like Ether.fi gives seasons, Swell will give whatever we get, whatever step this platform gets from the partners, we will share it with the users that have contributed in that strategy. And all of it will, to be easier for users, everything that we get will be swapped to ETH. So users don't have to play with random tokens or don't know what to do with them. They can just claim the ETH, they can deposit again, or they can take it with themselves. The risk here is mostly, again, on staking protocol side, because we are only interacting with them. We are not doing any management on our own or going somewhere else. We're using their contracts and using whatever they offer. So if that's the risk of this platform itself, it's always the risk of the other. It's not risk on us. And I will explain how we managed to try to avoid any kind of exploits, in sense of maybe someone will try to drain our vault or the strategy. When you okay, let's now start talking about code base. For users, users only have two functions. As you can see, it's deposit, it's withdrawal. On deposit, user is sending ETH, and on withdrawal, user is sending Sprout ETH to claim. Now, the main, I'll say, marketing thing here is the gas fee. If you go by yourself on each one of these protocols, uh, you will need to approve. You will need to swap to wrapped ETH or to wrapped ETH, approve it, staked in liquid ETH, go back by Rocket ETH, go again, swap to wrapped ETH, zap in wrapped ETH in Swell, and lock it up. That's like 7 transactions for you.
Yeah, that's very arduous and expensive.
When you do the calculations, it costs you like between 45 and 65 to $70, depends on the gas. When user deposits, it costs them like between $5 and $11.
Wow, that's amazing.
How we manage that is user deposits, as I mentioned, user deposits ETH in their function. What we do, we are accumulating in a batch. And when user deposits, we're taking, remember this fee of 2.5% or zero, that goes to the wallet that does the execution. So all the gas fee is shared between the users that are in the batch.
That's
And
amazing.
and once the contract is verified, as far as I know, let's see. So I can grab, yeah, contract is verified, so I can open this one up. Does people do this on Solidity Fridays?
Yeah, this is perfect. If you could just, but
Zoom
please,
in.
if you could just zoom in a bit.
Tell me when.
Maybe a bit more. Yeah, that looks good. I can read it. Thank you.
Okay, let's start. So this is the staking strategy. As you can see, there's a lot of imports with Atomic Q, Rate Provider, Simple Staking, Zap, and Uniswap Router. And
Oh, that's cool that you used an atomic key, so it only.
that is used by Ether.fi, which we inherited, and
Nice.
we'll probably continue doing that because that's the thing to avoid exploits, where user requests to withdrawal, there's like 3 days of cooldown period. So whoever tries to do anything, there's a 3 days cooldown
Yes.
period, and we can
Yeah.
see something is going on and block it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Now,
It's like a safeguard.
something like that. So to explain this, this is the receipt token, which represents the strategy, and it's called Sprout ETH. And there's a formula behind it which calculates the value of assets versus ratio of ETH. So 1 ETH versus 30% of liquid, 50% of liquid, plus a value of 20% of Rocket Pool, plus 30% of wrapped ETH, which will give you, this is a Easter egg that we didn't mention, but it's there. we have a threshold in this strategy, which gives 1-1 ratio until we hit a threshold of 10 ETH. And then we apply the formula, which will be now 1 ETH. If you deposit, you will get 0.94 sprout ETH. Now you're getting 1-1, which
Nice.
is an
Wow.
Easter egg and something to say thank you for early adopters.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So as you can see, this is the treasury which will gather the fees out when users withdraw, and it will accumulate there. Withdrawal request NFTs, it's when users create the withdrawal request, we give them the NFT with amount of sprout that they sent in and expected ETH. And once they are able to claim based on the NFT ID, we check how much sprout ETH they sent in, calculate percentage of entire batch, give the percentage of ETH that we got in that batch. Again, withdrawal goes same as deposit. To save up gas, we do it in deposit. We do it in batches. Then we have simple staking and Zap for Swell, Atomic Q for Ether, Liquid ETH, wrapped ETH contract to wrap our ETH in order to get Rocket Pool ETH and Swell, rate provider and swap router from swap router encoder from Uniswap, and these are some variables relating to fee, which we always display on our app. If we change it, it will update based on what is in the contract. That's the transparency that we're mentioning. Or every fee that we add is on the contract, and there's no hidden fees here.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, and then these are again some other variables like one of the Easter eggs that I mentioned, the current hello on that current accumulated deposited ETH. If when we hit 10 ETH, we turn on the formula, which you will see in a short while. Tell me if I can jump in to the functions so I can explain the functions.
Yeah, cool. Maybe we could look at the mappings first and then.
Okay, mappings. Withdrawable batch ID, so to calculate the batch and to see that structured total sprout, circulating sprout, totally circulating in finance. So when
Okay, nice.
they are creating a batch, what we do is adding a total sprout amount and adding circulating sprout amount. When batch is resolved, we add the value of ETH and circulating ETH so for our calculations.
Okay, nice.
You will see that in the withdrawal function.
And then once it gets finalized and sent, then you can't do it again.
Yes. So next one is the user to track deposits amounts for easier access and just mapping up on how much ETH, how much sprout, etc. And investment types and percentages, because as I mentioned, there are currently 3. And I got a lot of questions. Is there rebalancing? Currently, no. We're keeping that like this.
Yeah.
Future could be, but again, it will be decided later in the roadmap. And this is the Ether.fi withdrawal deadline because of atomic requests, and we put it on 10 days, but it gets resolved in like 3 days.
Okay, nice.
And as soon as it gets resolved, we swap the wrapped ETH to ETH and make it claimable for users that withdraw that requested withdrawal. Events are purely for our subgraphs, so to see who deposited, to see who requested, claimed.
What did you build your subgraph in? What language did you or framework did you use as a subgraph?
The graph and
okay, nice.
It's most secure, most used, and the community is great there. If you hit any roadblocks, you go to their
there's a big it's a legacy subgraph, so there's a lot of help, I'm sure. That's cool.
And then we have a couple of other events that I will mention when we hit the code base. So on an init function, sprout token, fee treasury, deployed fee contract, simple staking, everything that I mentioned above, we're initializing in our contract. It's upgradable in proxy. And we are setting like the percentages here and setting the initial uh, values for fees. Now, let's hit the juicy part of the functions. So when user is depositing, as you can see, it's when the contract is not paused, not re-entered, they send it, we record the deposit amount, calculate the gas fee, send the gas fee to the wallet that is executing, calculate the total investment based on value minus gas fee, and mint the amount after the gas fee. If I go to calculate gas fee, oh, I cannot do this. Oh, yeah. This is the hidden Easter egg. If it's not threshold, don't do the scale. If it's threshold, do the scale. This is for gas fee threshold. There's a function. This get amount sprout receipt. If it's above the threshold, do this calculation.
Yeah, get the
So you will
ratio.
get like less sprout. If it's not, it's 1-1, as you can
Yeah,
see.
nice.
Now let's go back to deposit and where are we here? Oh, this is request so far. And then we mint the token and send it to user, and mint the function that user has deposited this amount. Next one is, do you want me to go by the flow, or do you want
It's
me
up to you.
Okay, so when enough users have deposited, what we need now is to execute the call. What it happens is every 6 hours, it checks if there's enough liquidity inside the batch to execute it.
Okay,
And
nice. Is that done by a TypeScript Chrome bot, or is that done in the
Combat,
contract?
but there's a plan to put that on chain
That's cool.
using Gelato network.
Yes, that's cool.
Yeah, so far it's cron job. Just check.
Yeah, cron jobs are great.
Yeah, so execute deposit is only by executioner that lives on server and no one has access to it. Love how the code documents itself. Thank you, Jules. Oh, hello, Jules. Nice to see you here. So this is based on the variables of Uniswap, slippage, Ether.fi slippage, and deadline. Because Uniswap has the slippage and deadline when it needs to swap. So that is preset like 5%, 5%, and 1 hour. But it can be adjusted if we see that we need to increase or decrease. And now this is the part where we go into each one of them, and I will show you this. So calculate investments. This is like 30, 50, 30, how much every gets. So if we go here and call deposit into Ether.fi, we are locking wrapped ETH, calculating slippage amount, and depositing into liquid wallet, getting liquid ETH into the contract. Function deposit and Swell, as I mentioned, they will not give us back the tokens. It's zapped in. But if you call their function with this address, you will see the balance. So we are just logging it the ETH that is in the batch into the Swell. When it comes to Rocket Pool, it's simple. We are using Uniswap to buy Rocket ETH and keep it in the strategy itself. And on Etherscan, you can see like the ratio of it. And you can see that is work in progress to display. Apologies, to display how much of each asset is backing up our token. Now, that we covered the deposit flow. Now, when it comes to withdrawals, I think it's here. Yeah, no, this is claim. Request withdrawal. As I mentioned, like user is sending Sprout ETH, and we're checking if they have enough balance, burning it, and then storing how much they have deposited. And you remember that I did mention total Sprout and circulating Sprout. We are recording this for them.
Okay, nice.
So we can calculate like the percentages to distribute the ETH later in the claim. And then we are giving them the NFT, the deposit amount equivalent, amount of Sprout, and the ID of the batch. So there's no someone to take the NFT and claim random batch or do something.
Like, oh, they made more money because they're a smaller batch. I'm gonna steal their
Yeah,
ETH.
try to steal something. NFT gets burned after withdrawal, by the way. So there's
Nice.
no,
Yeah, that was a clever catch.
yeah. And we're emitting who withdrawal request for the users to display that on the UI. This comes later. So next thing is calling unstake from protocols. What I described on deposit, now we are reverse engineering, calling each one of the protocols to give us back ETH,
Also in a batch.
also in a batch, which is kind of cool if you think of it.
Yeah, that's really efficient.
Yeah, so we're calculating amount of sprout scale, and how much is holding, how much for Rocket ETH, Liquid ETH, and Swell, and then we call withdraw. If I show you, you will just see. Okay, here. Fetch it, call the simple staking, withdraw the amount, and unwrap wrapped ETH into ETH, and store it for the batch. Withdrawal from Ether.fi is the atomic request, which has the deadline, and we are now, our contract is just waiting for liquid ETH to be swapped with wrapped ETH, and once it is done, we can do the rest. And last one is the withdrawal from Rocket ETH. It's Uniswap, Rocket ETH to wrapped ETH, and unwrap the ETH to ETH and give it back to the contract. Now, the function that happens when atomic request is resolved is called finalize. So we are checking that first deadline is above current timestamp, and slippage amount is less than 100, and the current needs to be not finalized in order to don't mess, because you cannot create more than one atomic request per address. So it's only one per address. There is no like, let's create like 6, 7 of them. Now, when we get that back, what we are sending is to quote wrapped ETH to ETH, and on Uniswap, swap it to ETH and send it back to batch, and set finalize to true, so it's claimable, and add total ETH and circulating ETH into the batch. Now users can claim, which is here. Claim, where they send the request ID. That is the NFT ID, actually. And then we check if it's finalized. If it's not, you cannot claim it. We are grabbing circulating ETH, circulating Sprout to see if there's enough in it, and then calculate how much ETH user will get by Sprout amount, which we're getting here from withdrawal request. We send the ID because we store Sprout amount, and withdrawal batch, we will get how much they sent in, calculate, where's this? Calculate the share, the percentage. If they own 20% of Sprout in deposit, they will get 20% of ETH from this batch. And then we are taking the fee because we paid for the gas on the withdrawals. We're taking the same fee what we did before, and then the fee, profit fee, which I mentioned, the smaller one, which is above the investment. And when it's finalized, we burn the token. I will open that real soon. And these are the mechanics of Sprout.
Awesome. Back in the claim function, when you get the fees based on the profit, is that for the whole batch or per user?
Per user. It's per user.
Okay, cool. That's really good.
Yeah. No, we're not doing it per batch.
Yeah.
It would be hard to calculate.
Yeah, and then if you split
Someone
it equally
will
and
get
someone,
even less than someone else.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I need to unzoom and go to the draw request NFT, which is like this. As you can see, it has relative deposit amount of Sprout, and which, oh, just a second to zoom in. The amount of what they are giving back of Sprout ETH in order to get ETH, so we can calculate the percentage and which batch they belong to. When they are requesting, we're minting it, storing the amounts, and sending the NFT to user. And this is their ID called request ID. And when they're finalizing, we are just burning it. Rebecka, how much
Nice.
is the fee? What? How is the fee calculated? This fee Sprout takes if there is a profit. Yeah, so there are three fees as I mentioned on the app. First one is deposit fee. So gas is split between the user 2.5% if invest it is less than 0.1 and 0.00025 if it's above 0.1. Same goes with withdrawal. When it comes to profit, as I mentioned and Tamas, each user, when they claim their ETH, we check how much ETH they actually deposited. Remember the mapping of ETH? That's why. And then we see how much ETH they're claiming. If it's above this rate, as you can see my two fingers, it's this profit. And then we're taking 8% of this. So they're getting their original ETH back plus 92% of profit. Yeah, and that is the finalized withdrawal.
Okay,
Cool.
awesome.
What we're building is currently airdrop claims. So when the assets claim, based on the mechanics, users that were using strategy can claim the rewards that we got from the partners that we're currently using. Cool. That is a walkthrough. Let's see. There are a couple of other functions that you can see on Etherscan, where we can set the Uniswap addresses, set fee percentage, as I told. Everything is
Yeah, and then
transparent.
that
If we
updates
change it,
transparently.
people will see how much, and it will reflect on our UI, saying, "Hey, this is the new fee now, and this is how it will cost." Everything: deposit, withdrawal, and profit fee. Set executioner, wallet that does two executions, set rate provider. This is for one of the partners that we're using to get the rate, and update Ether.fi withdrawals if we see it takes longer, takes less, so we can
You can accommodate.
accommodate. And pause, get amount of Sprout. This is the mathematical formula for ETH versus ETH Sprout ratio. Calculate the investments amount. It's you send in ETH, and based on the percentage, this is of what each should
With the
go in
split.
protocol split. Calculate gas fee, as we mentioned, like if it's
Yes.
small deposit and larger deposit.
Could you zoom in a bit, please?
Yes.
Thank you. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Trying to
Amazing.
trying to make as you can see on the app, there's nothing describing what's going on here. Users only see send ETH in, send Sprout ETH in to gain ETH. Everything that we do is literally heavy work on contracts.
Yes, that's amazing. And saving the users all the gas. Rebecca has a question. Who is the main target market and who do you hope will adopt Sprout?
The main target market would be people that would love to increase their wealth but don't want to spend time researching.
And gas fees going to
And
different,
gas fees.
and to do bridges and wrapping and unwrapping and swaps.
Uh, Everything is done for them. It's for users that don't have experience in blockchain space and users who have experience in blockchain space and felt the pain of managing their portfolio.
Amazing. Did we look at the internal functions? I guess we saw some of them.
Internal functions. Yep, those are the deposit and
I
withdrawal
see the
functions.
deposits. Yes,
That
we've looked at those. I think
yeah, on
with the
execute.
zap and
Yes,
the
yes.
okay, cool.
So the yeah. Let's see if I missed any one of them. Oh, send gas fee is internal that sends the spread gas fee that we take from the users to the external wallet to pay
Oh,
the,
to that executioner
to
wallet.
the executioner to cover the gas
Nice.
that they are depositing. They're spending on these.
Nice.
And
And then because it's an upgradable proxy, you can authorize the upgrade
yes.
in the internal functions. Nice. And then the receive function so that you can get ETH into the contract.
Mhm.
Um,
I got the question of why didn't you use the vault proposal? Uh, that was an option, but they have a little bug where if you send ETH into it, it will damage you completely.
with the inflation attack, or
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, good catch. I think it's nice and elegant just to mint the user the Sprout token and then give them the NFT to burn. I
Yeah.
think you guys did it well. Um, yeah, this is really cool. I have a question. When you add another strategy, will
Mhm.
that be a new contract, or are you just going to upgrade this contract, add the
New
strategies
contract.
here? One
It will
contract.
be a basket of goods.
Nice.
We are working on it. So eventually this platform will have more than one basket of goods, so people can
Mm,
see how secure they are, what is the risk, what is
mm.
in it, why is there, what do we buy, what does the strategy buy, and such.
That's really cool. So then your deposit will update to like have an ID of the
Yes.
strategy you're choosing. Nice. That's really
Mhm.
elegant.
Yeah, and then it will be like the platform itself, the TVL will just grow based on what the TVL per strategy.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you'll add another mapping.
Yeah, and to like as you can see in the code base, there's no way of us, except if we upgrade, of
Yeah, to withdraw and rug people.
to do anything. The assets are logged per wallet,
Mm.
and no one can do anything. I mean, we can stop the executioner, but
But then
we
it's just, yeah,
why?
yeah. Is the executioner an EOA or is it a multi-sig?
It's EOA.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. We were thinking about is there a way for contract to interact, and that was like a mission to build.
I can imagine.
Yeah, and we were like we were thinking cron jobs, and later on we will just switch to Gelato network to be fully on chain,
Mm,
so everyone can see, okay, this is the guy, and this is the hours that they will trigger
yeah,
the deposit and execution.
that would be a nice upgrade.
Yeah, yeah,
But a cronbot is good for now. I mean, they're solid.
yeah. They are. They are.
Did you build it?
Yes.
That's cool. I love. I recently built two cronbots and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Oh, it was a learning curve, but it's fun.
Mm. How did you interact with the contracts in the cronbot? Did you use VM or did you use like
VM.
Web3?
Oh,
VM, yeah.
since VM, this is my opinion, overpassed Ethers JS. I
Mm.
never looked back. Or Web
Yeah, I agree.
that Ether.js and Web3.js, in my opinion, were good starting points for other packages to be created, like VM, VAGME. Again, this is my opinion, not like everyone else's.
Mm.
They just overpassed the OGs of the game.
Yeah, I agree. I think VM's, I love it. I always use it if I can.
Yeah, yeah, no, VM is amazing when it comes like to how easy it is to just call the contract.
You just read
They have a
contract, write
simulation.
contract.
They have a simulation,
Yeah,
and
I love that. And then you can simulate and say, okay, well, it's not favorable under these conditions to execute now. So I'll simulate in an hour and then cool, it is, and then I'm going to execute it.
yeah, yeah, it's like, okay, but you're missing this, or let's skip this. Based on the simulation response, you can trigger it or not.
Mm. Yeah, that's really neat. I'm glad you use VM. I'm glad
No,
you like
no,
it too.
VM all the way.
Yeah, me too. That's sick. Awesome. This is really, really good code. Does anyone in the audience have any more questions? You can type them in the chat there.
Maybe I can talk. No, I can't. I'll type it.
Yeah, I'll read your question out. There's an ogre in the chat. Sorry.
It's loud if I smoke vape, Coca-Cola
Still
vape.
allowed.
Thank you. Solid work, unintended. Thanks to our Solidity developers, it's really solid work.
Mm. Who did the audit for you?
Cypher.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
They're legit.
Cool. They had like really nice feedback and things that could improve.
That's cool.
Was
Yeah.
incredible. And how they work is like you open the repo and then they create issues and then they read. It's a really straightforward to work with.
Yeah, it's really nice when auditors create an issue and then you can just put that into a pull request and then it's documented. Nothing gets slipped because if it's just a report, you can like miss 0.6 and then not add it into GitHub. That's cool. How will I explain this project to my boomer dad?
Is this a pitch deck? So how to explain this project to a boomer dad is, if you look at traditional finance and how it's structured there, you can look at it as mutual funds where someone started buying shares of different companies because tokens and these could be the similar way. And when they buy share of that commodity, like S&P 500, first example, your assets are distributed into 100, 500 companies. And
yeah, that's a really good analogy.
This is doing the same.
Yeah, like if I want to invest in Coca-Cola, I don't go to Coca-Cola and then to like a bank. I just go into, in South Africa, it's called Satrix. And I invest in the top 20 companies in South Africa at the time. It's a really good analogy.
Yeah, and you're not thinking about the risk. Like if you're doing it by yourself, there's a lot more risk involved.
And a lot more work. Now I have to go to this person, buy their shares, go there.
Yeah, that, and again, remember that I told you like there's a lot of research if you're gonna do it by yourself. Same in traditional finance. If I'm gonna do investment by company per company, either I'm gonna do it if someone else told me to buy the shares, or I'm gonna research about the company. I'm gonna research how much they own, how much they make profits in, like,
which is for some users, I think, but it's a time sink for most.
Congrats on your new job, Tam.
Oh, thank you guys. Thank you. Oh, Rebecka has some
more
questions
than one
from
bucket.
Mustafa.
Could you transfer your Sprout from one? Nope. Nope. It is per bucket. Same goes with traditional. I'm gonna reference to the traditional finance. If you buy a bucket for not Nasdaq, it's technical companies. You cannot go and say, I want to transfer this to be represent of New York Stock Exchange for oil. It's a different price. It's a different ratio.
Yeah, it's a different underlying asset. It's completely
Yes.
not transferable. That makes sense. What could be nice in the future on your app is maybe when you add more strategies to do a risk analysis table and the same category for each component of like each protocol in the strategy, and then give them the score and say like, okay, cool, our first strategy was the safest because Ether.fi scored here for these reasons, and Swell, and then break it down for the users. But users can also see that from the graph of the deposits and withdrawals. I really like that function that you added that. It's nice to see what other people are doing.
Yeah.
And it creates a bit of gamification between users. Like, oh, everyone's withdrawing. Let me quickly deposit.
Yeah, or that, because now the asset will probably worth less, and then you want to buy more. It's like, again, playing with market.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well done to the Sprout team. This is really great. Thanks for coming on the show, Mustafa. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
If you have time, please visit sproutdefi.com, join our Discord, and leave feedback. Play with the app and leave feedback. Everything will be taken into consideration and could be something worth for doing the work of feedback, something like that.
Amazing.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much. This has been another episode of Solidity Fridays, brought to you by Linum Labs and Web3 Sanctuary. We'll be back next week with another exciting protocol.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you for having me, and enjoy the weekend.
Yes, thanks. You too.